As far as her high school career goes, Jess barely keeps a B grade point average as a junior, and is fairly forgettable to all the faculty. She doesn't play any sports, never had any more than a passing interest in clubs, and certainly isn't winning science awards left and right like her younger brother, or flying around fighting crime like her sister. Jess groans and flicks the desktop sync on her DED. It flickers, and then her desktop projects a large workspace screen and a keyboard. Jess flicks through her documents. She could get started on a paper for world history, but that's not due till Friday. She can put that off. Besides, there are more pressing things, like following through with finding a job. It has to be something cool, something she'll enjoy, and something that will look good on her college applications. Jess pulls up one of the hollow pages her guidance counselor gave her, one that sorts listings of internships and volunteer opportunities by geographic location. She scowls, scrolling through listing after listing, rejecting one after another. Ugh, you need a job to get experience, and experience to get a job. The Las Vegas Philharmonic needs someone for basic office work and to keep all their sheet music organized. Sounds okay. Plus she'd be around creative people, and it looks as if they're okay with a high school student with no experience. It'd be a terrible commute, though, at least an hour if there's traffic. Andover isn't quite big enough to merit its own stop on the hovertrain route, so everyone who drives to Las Vegas is bottlenecked onto one road. Be a long drive there, and an even longer one back with all the people leaving Las Vegas for the outer cities. Jess wants to do something more. She wants to make a difference somehow, even if her best talent is meticulously organizing things, which her mother says isn't actually a talent, and stubbornness. Jess blinks when she sees the next company. No way. Monroe Industries has high school internships? Jess clicks the link and glances outside her open bedroom door, where she can see Chav busily cheeping away, still trying to vacuum. This Mon-Robot model was revolutionary when it came out, and it still functions today, if, albeit a bit slower and quirkier. Any other brand would have been defunct by now. Monroe Industries has state-of-the-art technology, and their products are everywhere, from the home to the office to private schools. Mon-Robots can be programmed to perform any number of everyday tasks, from cleaning and cooking to being a personal assistant, although those advanced AI systems are incredibly expensive. Cha is one of the more basic models, used primarily for household chores. The robots in the basic line aren't cheap, though. Jess remembers her parents being very excited about the discount they got for being in the Associated League of Heroes. Jess scans the listing to see if she's qualified, and while a few science and business internships require experience and references, one position catches her eye. Wanted. Motivated intern for administrative and office support in Select Experimental Research Division. Responsibilities include word processing, creating spreadsheets and presentations, organizing reports and research data, and filing. Computer experience, net research abilities, and strong communication skills are preferred. Sensitivity to confidential matters and discretion is required. Jess taps her finger on her chin. Paid position, as are all the other internships, but this one is surely going to be in high demand because of the entry-level qualifications. The DED listed for inquiry is registered to a person named M. Quick search of the company's website brings up absolutely nothing about this person, or the experimental division, so Jess doesn't have any other information with which to tailor her cover letter, but she's willing to try anyway. Jess crafts what she hopes is a compelling cover letter and resume and sends them in. Chapter 2. On Saturday, Jess declines going to Crystal Springs with her parents to visit Claudia. Jess should be babysitting her younger brother, who is also too busy for a day trip, working on his project for an upcoming science fair. But Brendan is ridiculously self-sufficient. He hasn't left his room all day. Jess is in the basement, looking over a collection of antique DVDs, when she hears a car pull into the driveway. Panic races through her. What if her parents' nemesis have found the house? The door opens and shuts. "Hey Jess, we brought you food since you couldn't go out." That could only be Belle's voice, bright and exuberant. Jess grins and dashes up the stairs. She can see the Robaldos? You can see the Robaldos' cherry red car pulling forward at an impossibly slow pace. Jess laughs. Emma must be driving. She throws open the door and Belle is waiting on the porch, holding 2 delicious-smelling bags and rolling his eyes. "Princess is still parking the car," Belle says, shaking his head. His hair is a vivid red today, shaved short on one side and long on the other. Purple the last time Jess saw him, but this is normal. Belle's thrives on consistently changing his looks. The crimson locks fall in an artful fringe, framing his face. The colour is vibrant against his dark skin. Jess seizes him in a hug, and Belle's exhales audibly. "Been working out, have we?" he asks with a grin. "Well, yes, but it's not like Jess has super strength." She knows. She's got the numbers to prove it. "Emma, what are you doing?" She calls to where the car is still moving. "Parking," Emma says, flipping her dark curls over her shoulder as she reverses once more, her hand on the steering wheel. "It's gotta be perfect, you know?" Jess shakes her head, takes one of the bags from Belle's and gestures inside. Belle's unzips his boots and toes them off, tossing them where the rest of the trans shoes are scattered in the entryway. He follows Jess to the kitchen, where they set down the bags and watch Emma park. Emma rearranges the car 3 more times before she's satisfied and finally turns off the engine, steps out of the driver's seat and beams as the car locks behind her. She puts her hands on her hips, and her petite frame stands proudly in the driveway. She grins. Her bright lipstick matches the car perfectly. The sleek and shiny vehicle looks out of place among the dull cars on their modest street, especially because of the steering wheel mounted on the dashboard. The driver-operated car screams of old money and connections. It's incredibly difficult for citizens to be approved for the privilege of driving. Even with Emma's parents both working in prominent government positions, it took the better part of 2 years for her license application to get approved. Jess also has a license, but she can't tell anyone about it. The Smashmobile is driver operated, and she's qualified to drive it, but only in case of emergency. Claudia got her own driver-operated car for her 18th birthday, but that was a gift being accepted into the League. Jess thought the whole thing was ridiculous. Claudia could only drive it secretly. Not like any of the middle-class trans would have been approved for a license, let alone afford one of the coveted cars. Still, Jess can't really be jealous of her friend. Emma has to share her car with her older brother, and she always offers to drive all of them. "You didn't have to come over," Jess says, even though she's incredibly happy to see them. "I thought I told you to go to the movie without me." Emma takes off her sandals and tucks them neatly into one of the cubbyholes in the entryway shelving. Jess's dad designated it for shoes, but he's the only one of the trans who remembers to put them away in their proper place. He usually only has his shoes, and Emma's. "No way," Belle says. "You ditched school yesterday," Emma points out, "and you've been acting weird all week." Jess bites her lip. Emma's very intuitive, but Jess can't tell her about her superpower difficulties without revealing her family's secret. She settles for looking at her feet. "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry," Jess mutters. Emma shrugs. "It's okay. I mean, you don't have to tell us, you know, but I didn't want you to mope all weekend about whatever it is." Jess is seized by grateful appreciation, and she wants to sweep Emma into a hug, but if she does that, she might burst into tears. Emma nods, smiles, and steps into the kitchen. Bells pats Jess on the shoulder and follows Emma in. The 2 of them grab plates and utensils and usher Jess back downstairs. Jess is handed a plate of steaming tamales, and Bells and Emma plop down on the old, battered couches next to her and start eating and talking about the upcoming literary projects in Mrs. Reinhardt's class. Jess can't help but smile as the conversation surrounds her like a familiar and comforting blanket. She unwraps a tamale, inhales the delicious scent of the masa, and takes a bite. Jess nearly drops her fork when she tastes the seasoned beef. "Meat," she says. "Yeah, my uncle is visiting from New Bright City, and it was his birthday last weekend, so we went all out." "You're lucky I hid the leftovers in the freezer when I did," Emma says brightly. Jess takes her time, savouring every bite. "Your mum is the best. Tell her thank you when you get home." "Of course," Emma says, elbowing Jess. "You know that also means next time you come over, she's not gonna stop feeding you." "I don't have a problem with that," Jess grins through a mouthful of tamale. "Uh-huh," Bell says, waving his fork. "Do you remember when we were like 10, and I said I liked that rice milk that one time? Now Mrs. Robledo, I need to figure out how to say that, apologies, always puts it out whenever I'm over, and I can't not drink it, even if horchata is too sweet for me." Jess laughs and then gets drawn into a conversation about their parents' quirks. The afternoon might seem almost the same as it was before they arrived. No real plan, just hanging out in the basement. But instead of Jess flipping channels alone, she and Emma and Bells eat and make fun of Bell's apt reactions to reruns of his favourite detective show.